welcome to ET Studios, Future Brands of India in association with ET Retail. I'm your host Himanshi Tiwari. The Future Brands of India has been a journey for us. We hosted some of the most promising brands in India's D2C landscape. We heard about their challenges, their triumphs, evolution and tech adoption. These brands, which are the part of India's D2C blockbuster, are also a part of India's $12 billion market, which is now looking to surpass $60 billion mark by 2027. So before diving into this episode, let's take a look how the journey has been for us.
India is a retail market, to be honest. D2C gives you more clarity that what is working out, what is not working out.
You have to be massively data backed, which all these tech and tools that you work with, both in terms of your sales channel as well as in terms of your perf marketing channels, allow you to stay very, very close to the consumer and understand their preferences. So that becomes one thing.
Customer has always been the center of attention with this brand, and with technology, yes, it's helping us, get more insights into what is the behavior pattern of this customer to service her better.
Chicken, mutton, fish and seafood, they are very complex, categories, and buying behavior of each category is very different.
So we are coming up with a very different concept that we might see in international countries, but we haven't seen in India, specifically in fashion segment a lot, is experiential kiosks.
This is an era of personalization. Everybody wants something in a different way. While you cannot personalize for every 7 billion people on this planet, but what you can do, you can create such products with a very personalized touch.
Newer age software and tech success stories, let's say a Razorpay or a Unicommerce, right? They've basically been built on the back of the fact that D2C is growing and blossoming and thriving the way it is.
For this episode, we are joined in by Deep Bajaj, who is the co-founder of Sirona Hygiene, and Kamakshi Agarwala, who is the founder of Butt Chique. It's a pleasure to have you both here.
Thank you for having us over.
Thank you.
All right. So you guys deal in the same market segment, right? Your idea is to make women feel empowered, right? So how this journey started, I wanted to know from both of you. Right now, the Indian D2C market is a blockbuster. It is thriving, right? So where did you find that sort of market gap that you're dealing in? Maybe we'll start with you, Deep.
Sure. Thank you once again for having me over. Well, when I started, I didn't know this is going to become this this scale business, and the industry will evolve like this. But the genesis was, I had experienced in my professional and personal life that when it comes to traveling, women face a lot of discomfort because of lack of clean toilets. And that gave birth to Pee Buddy, our first product on a road trip, and which helps women stand in pee. And once we got into that segment, a lot of customers started talking to us about other issues that they face, which gave birth to the bigger brand Sirona, which started looking at all the issues that women face, right from puberty to menopause, which are not addressed. And D2C, incidentally, 13, 14 is when the journey started. And back then it wasn't a term as we know it, as we know it today. But then the marketplaces started opening, enabling delivering orders directly to consumers became easy. And Sirona became, what it is, shipping some 6 lakh orders every month today. Yeah.
All right. Kamakshi, for you are also dealing in a very niche segment of the market, right? So how it all started?
So we started 4 years ago, fairly new. The reason why I sort of began with Shapewear as my first core product was because, to be honest, I didn't find that product anywhere in India, especially the quality, and the whole industry was very male driven. So, you can't even push them to create something for women because their mindset would be very, dhanda karo and, let's just make money out of it. But I think what we tried to do and still are trying to is, create that healthy imagery and bring that inclusivity that was really lacking in this particular industry. Like many other industries, there is equality and everything, but this lingerie industry in India has always been a taboo.
Yeah. Yeah, even now, we see very few brands who deal in plus sizes, right? So congrats on that part. But for both of you, how do you see the Indian D2C market at this point in time? The craze among the masses is growing exponentially over these years. We have seen Shark Tank India thriving like anything, right? And so, normal people, more Gen Zs are a part of this whole blockbuster story. So how do you see the D2C market right now in India, and also evolving in the upcoming few years?
So I think like when I started, there were like fairly less D2C brands, but now you see a startup coming every second day. So I think the major thing that would set a startup apart in the coming years would be the product, I feel, because the customer would come back for the product, and you will be able to build something out of it. So I really think that all these innovative startups that are coming up, product is the hero. And yeah, so I think that'll only set apart everything else. Marketing, branding is there, but I think consumers are fairly wise to sort of now see through that, see through influencers and creators, everything.
Yeah, I think, if we step back and understand, maybe the future will become easy to explain. So earlier what used to happen was, if I had a product idea, I would face two handicaps. Marketing was a challenge, distribution was a challenge. What technology did, internet and mobile penetration did, is they solved to an extent. If you're good at content creation, awareness became easy. And as awareness became easy, social media thrived. The last mile delivery ecosystem also started getting created, which gave birth to a lot of newer ideas and newer segments. People moved from their old redundant brands to whoever was offering me solution for my exact problem. Butt Chique, well, there were lingerie products available, but shapewears were not there. And it was difficult for me to find it as a woman because I didn't even know where to get it. So here there was Kamakshi who said, I have this, I can deliver. And she moved. So a lot of people moved from the existing solutions to the new. Now in the future, I believe more niches will evolve. Far more niche. You'd have to customize the product to maybe to the last available consumer and his needs. And what will happen is there are people who are using old products, there are people who are using newer products. Going forward, your needs will evolve, and newer brands who are able to cater to them will thrive. It's a great time to be in the D2C ecosystem, with all the advancements that are happening.
A few years back, I remember we were seeing a lot of brands coming into the startup space. But at that time, they were creating a problem and then providing a solution, right? For you both had a genuine problem. You found a genuine problem and you both are giving solutions to those genuine problems, right? But when you are scaling your product, when you're scaling your businesses and you're bringing in new innovative ideas, how do you kind of understand what your customer demands? Like how you understand your customer expectations and build on that sort of experience?
So, it is very easy now to keep in touch with your consumers. So I think going forward, the brands who are able to understand what the consumer wants and keeps in touch with consumers will keep on coming up with the next generation of solutions. And I think that's the crux. How do we do it? I think, touchwood for us, we've kept fairly in touch with all the stakeholders, and your customers are not only the paying customers, they're also your team members, they're also your investors, there's also media for that matter. So how do you systematically keep in touch? You make a process around it, you will get enough and more insights. Consumer today, the consumers are very smart, they know what they want. The issue is that nobody was listening. Now there are new age brands who are willing to listen and say, hey, this is a problem that you're facing. I'm willing to bring a solution. So through chatbots, through meetups, through email, through feedback, NPS, you track all these things and you'll get ideas like daily. Like even today in Sirona, last few NPDs that we've done is only because of consumers. Our highest selling product, which is the menstrual cup today, about 4 million women use it in India, was proposed by a customer in like a future customer in an event. Back then we had Peabody and we had a few other solutions and we only had a period pain patch. She said, hey, why don't you bring this to India? So if you listen, you act, there are hundreds and thousands of ways available, but you need to be willing to create a system around listening. How do you create a culture of listening in the organization?
Yeah, even for you, Kamakshi, you have come up with shapewears, you have come up with body tapes, right? So you have understood that your consumer, sort of needs that products in the market, and there's a scarcity of such products in India as of now. But when you're planning to scale your products, like, bringing in new products, bringing in that sort of innovation, how do you kind of analyze what your customer wants? Now we have so many channels that we can gather data from. So how do you sort of keep that organized and understand the expectations of your customers?
See, to be honest, like every channel sort of fails. You just have to listen to the customer, and you have to listen to your customer in your community, because if you go anywhere else, everybody has a different want and a different need that may or may not work. So what we do is we just go very lean whenever we launch a product. So we will order, like we'll not order massively, we'll just order like a very small quantity of it and like just test it, and then get feedback and then build on it. So this is what we are doing, and to be honest, this is the best strategy, because A, we are bootstrapped, so we don't want to waste money. But secondly, the edit 2 that comes out, that is really good, because at that time we know what the customer is saying, and what we do, we make sure we just call them randomly, and sometimes they pick up and they're very, very responsive.
Yeah, so you're fairly new brand, that sort of strategy works for you. But for you, Deep, you have a lot of data, you have a bigger customer segment, right? So probably that sort of strategy might not work for you,
Sure.
So how do you kind of gather that data and keep it organized to, understand your customer needs and wants?
Sure. So I think I can give the right answer, or I can give a genuine answer. Genuine is what she said. There are multiple forums from which consumers are sharing insight. Your consumers, so whether it's at a base of 100,000 or it is a base, or is it at a base of 2 million, customers are talking. Every day there are. So for me, my Twitter is the best complaint box. When the order is getting late, that's the only tweet I get. Something is getting late, something is broken.
Yeah.
Now, there is Twitter, there is Instagram, there is LinkedIn, and all kinds of feedbacks you are getting. So as far as understanding where you're lacking, because at times maybe the product is great, maybe your service experience is broken. As far as listening is concerned, there are similar platforms. What we are doing is we're trying to say, let's not get too much under, analysis paralysis. It's a fairly intuitive game. You have a problem, you have a solution, you need to just deliver it. Correct? So we've just trying to make a simple process around it. Otherwise, the practical answer is, when the team started expanding in Sirona, we had almost logged in our NPDs, new product developments, for 3 years. Okay. We spoke to those are the consumers. The first P-Buddy user, the first menstrual cup user, the first period pain patch user is a perfect audience. I don't need to expand it right now. So we sat with a few of them, we interacted with a few of them, and we just made a list of all the issues that they're facing. So puberty to menopause. There is puberty, of course, you get sexually active, you have kids, you get married in whichever order, and then, of course, you're menopausal and so on and so forth. So those are already made. If we are launching, we do a similar exercise like hers. We just launch a very small batch. We make it available to the current consumers that we have. We get the feedback, we better the product, and we go on. That's the longest answer. But intuitively, if you're not listening to your consumer across the board, it's a disaster.
But for you both, you need to educate your consumers first to kind of sell that product in the market, right? You are bringing in body tapes, you are bringing in menstrual cups, and there's not much acceptance of such products in the Indian market right now, So how are you educating your consumers first and creating that sort of, place for your product to, to launch a new product?
Correct. So like Kamakshi mentioned initially, we were fairly bootstrapped for a long time in our defense, and then the funding started to come in. But those few years of no money taught us only one thing. If I'm able to acquire one consumer and create a system to just listen to her, my problem is solved. Now, for this one consumer, if I can get her to tell 10 other people about my product, the second battle is won. So creating content, creating cost-effective content, no frills, no jumping over the windows, but very straight, this is the problem, this is the solution. Like, what do you do in case of a vaginal discharge needs to be only delivered seriously, So we made, similar list was there. Back then we didn't have the products, but we knew these are the searches that women are making. online. They're going to Quora, they're going to multiple forums to ask about these solutions. So we invested from day zero only. I think the focus had been to create content, genuine content, where we are saying maybe 5 less people will watch it because it's not share worthy, but the 5 who are watching, it should solve their problem. And I think that even today, till today, there is a structure. There are doctors who are making videos on the topics around which we operate.
Yeah.
So integral part, consumer, if you can educate the consumer, nothing like it. If you can earn their trust that you're the brand who cares, they'll become your biggest brand ambassador. So that's the focus at Sirona.
Yeah, for you?
For us, I think it just happened because when we launched, it was COVID back in 2020. So I think that was like the only medium. So we focused like completely on it. We created content around the product. Then we got to know, like people don't know, like women in India don't know how to use the product only. So they came back to us with such questions. So we created content around that. And for shapewears, to be honest, there was like just myths around that, you'll lose weight, you'll become thin and all of that. So we really had to mold everything and putting across that, like slimming is also very empowering sometimes because, post pregnancy, it just gets loose. There is no solution to it. So why not, when you want to go out and party and everything, you can carry a shapewear. So to change that mindset was also very difficult for us because this product was heavily commercialized in a very different manner. So those were the struggle that we navigated. We post a lot of bold content and people unfollow us.
A lot of bold marketing, I must say, on your part.
Yeah, people just unfollow us, but we keep going. I think someone has to create that content because that's needed in India. So, like, why not? If they're unfollowing, it's okay. So we, just started changing our captions in way that it's open for debate. Like, we're not taking any stand, but we feel that you should know about it. So, like just subtly putting across things.
Yeah. The Indian demography is changing. Now, Gen Zs are our major consumers, right? For both of your brands, Gen Zs and millennials, right? And there are a lot of Gen Zs. Gen Zs are quick in terms of reaction, like, right? They want instant gratification and they will give you instant reaction for your brand, right? So, how do you deal with that sort of feedbacks?
Well, I don't know. I've still not cracked a way to deal with it by just taking it on the chin. Because see, the social media generation, the Gen Zs or millennials or this, strata, for us, they are the ones who made us.
Yeah.
Correct? And yes, it is that only. In the case of P-Buddy, we launched, it got so many people follow, and then whenever we've gone wrong, let's say there's anything wrong with the product, we've heard, bricks bats as well. So the method to madness, if you ask me, none. But how do I deal with them? By just saying, yeah, this is the way, this is the only way to deal with them. Where you hear and you solve it right now. You give them 3 days turnaround time, and your LinkedIn, each and every post, they'll come and post about, hey, my order is late, I've not got my refund.
Yeah. And the technology has made D2C thriving really easy in the market at this point in time, right? COVID came, a lot of things changed, even for e-commerce, right? A lot of brands are now operating at the omni-channel presence, and those who are not operating at the omni-channel presence, they are basically focusing on e-commerce. Even they are thriving because e-commerce is thriving in India at this point in time. We have quick commerce also, right? So how are you kind of strategizing your omni-channel presence? First, are you? Second, if you are, then how? If you're not, then why? Maybe we'll start from you, Deep.
So so fundamental, wherever the consumer is, you need to go. There's a time when customers used to shop at general trade outlets. So the name of the game was be there. Then modern trade came in, modern trade. Then marketplaces, or your own website. Now it's quick commerce. So for me, the buck stops at where is my consumer shopping? I should be there. Now, the second question that you ask yourself is, do you have the money to do justice to that channel? So I don't know if it's omni-channel is the correct answer. It's for whichever channel you have the money. And wherever you have the maximum consumers, spend on that channel, but own it. So let's say you're a new brand and you just want to launch, you can list on quick commerce and you have inventory to replicate, go there. If not, let's just double down on your own D2C website. So for us, we are there fairly in all digital channels, we are everywhere. Offline, we are treading our path very carefully, because it's very easy to make the product available at a store. It's very difficult for you to get it to move.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's what Sirona is doing. We are going after channels where our consumers are. I think quick commerce is taking the commerce by revolution. So everybody should try if you can replicate the inventory.
Yeah, and for the brands like yourselves, consumers sometimes do want to make their purchase alone.
Correct.
Not at the marketplace. Maybe they'll use more digital
Correct.
apps than to go to the marketplace
Correct.
and purchase that products. For you, how does it work?
I think we started purely with our own website and we were very, very focused on that. And all these marketplaces were inbound queries because people were searching there for our brand. So we were able to get on everything very quickly because, like Myntra head would come to us and they wanted the brand to be there. So that was like very easy process for us. But I second what Deep just said, and I feel that quick commerce like brands should be there. Like there is just no other way. You have to be there because every single day something new is happening.
Yeah,
And I think you like if you're not there, then you're losing out. I
Yeah,
feel
you're missing the bus if you're not delivering your products in just 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Right?
and why not? Like
Yeah.
that's such a convenience for the
Correct.
user.
Yeah.
You have to be there.
Absolutely, and a lot of times consumers, buy those products because they can get those products in 10 minutes, right? Maybe they won't need that product the day after, right? If they can get in 10 minutes, they'll buy even if their need or want is just 50%, right? All right, on that note, we have just witnessed Budget 2024. Like, how do you see this budget, helping the startup space?
Well, for me, I think the two things that I was very happy about was, removal of the angel tax.
Yeah.
I came from the era when, angel investing was happening. People were raising funding, and a few of my friends got notices, and it was a very tough time, for them. So I'm glad that has happened. And second, of course, long-term capital gain for anybody who's invested, if they take any benefits away, that has come down. So those two takeaways. Rest, I think it's just focusing on our business and let the other chatter be.
Okay.
I think I was very happy just to hear about the gold thing. Rest I don't know. So if you ask me any business applications, I'm so sorry, but I don't know.
All right, the consumers in us are happy.
Yeah.
Let's see the businesswoman or businessman.
I think
if
it's
they
more
can-
purchasing power
Yeah.
than definitely more sales for us because I think last few months were a bit challenging for everybody. So that might be very helpful.
All right. This is the last episode for Future Brands of India, and we wanted to do it with a brand like yours, who are dealing in such segments, and you're making the women feel empowered. But from your point, I wanted to understand if you can give your 2 cents to the entrepreneurs who are looking to start, with their D2C brands in India as of now. Maybe we'll start with you.
Well, I think focus on the consumer, and there's no shortcut. So it's a long haul. Be prepared for it. Those are the only 2 cents.
All right. You have to be prepared.
Yeah.
All right. From yours?
I think just be very true to what you're doing, as in the product should really speak to you. Because if you are able to sort of develop something that you personally need, you will be able to innovate the category very, very quickly. Because everything would come intuitively rather than, you will have to like just be there in the madness, and you will feel more empowered also. I feel when you relate to the product, you are using it every day. So like I'm wearing Butt Chique underwear right now, so I'm feeling very happy about it.
Yeah. All right. In one of our episodes, we invited Rakesh Sareen, who is the founder of Abhishti, and when we asked him this question, he said, when you're operating in a space like D2C, you will get 2 things, either Saraswati or Lakshmi. And I think you have to be content with that.
Correct.
Right?
Learn.
Yeah. So on that
But you
note-
want both.
Yeah, of course. If you don't get Lakshmi, I think you need to be at that time be content with the Saraswati that you are getting, so that you can kind of strategize to get Lakshmi.
And you need wisdom to handle both.
Yeah. All right. On that note, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us today. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for being a part of this beautiful journey at ET Studios, Future Brands of India, in association with ET Retail.